Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Journey to Becoming a Head Coach. As always, my name is Jeff Freeman, and again, thank you all for the positive comments. This has been a fantastic process. I can't say how much I appreciate everything you guys have done, everything you've been saying. Positivity is enormous. Today, as you can see, we're going to go over punt return. As I told you on last Tuesday, this previous Tuesday, we're going to go over punt return today, and we got a couple of different returns. Last year we mainly only really ran two different kinds of things. We ran what we call bird dog, where really we just kind of jammed everybody, and then we would run a block, which really we just can't call punt block. First year my defensive coordinator ran it. This year again, like I said, I'm kind of taking over the special teams, so I've really kind of dove deep, pulled some things I like, and we're going to run things a little bit different. So the first one, as you can see, as we're sitting here, we got 8 guys, 9, 10, and then we'd have our punt returner back here. So it kind of looks like we're coming after it, and I want them to think that, but in reality, so our original, like, just kind of jam everybody's called bird dog. What I'm actually going to call it really is, this one we'll call it double dog. And this reason why we're going to call it that is, let's say these guys are two really good gunners, because obviously this formation, this is the old school punt formation, kick step, keep everybody inside. As soon as you hear the ball, go and release. And usually it really relies on these guys getting down the field. So they got two really good athletes down here. So say I don't want them to get there, so I'm going to call it double dog. So all that means is, before the ball is snapped, 1 and 8 are going to go join the corners, and 1's going to be in charge of, basically there's going to be in charge of funneling him to the outside, funneling that player out of bounds as much as they can. So doubling him out of bounds, getting him out of the way. 2 is going to be the only guy that goes for the block. That's it. Rush hard upfield, take whichever way you can get, and go for the block. Everyone else, we're going to jam. Obviously the center usually gets released. Jam, 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 and 7's going to kind of sit and make sure the ball is kicked. That's pretty much it. So ball gets kicked, returner's going to pick their best avenue and go from there. Once the ball is kicked, everyone's just going to try and push their guy outside. Real simple, real easy stuff. Nothing too crazy, but in premise, it's to eliminate these two guys from getting down there quick to forcing a fair catch. That's the idea behind it. So that's what we're going to be calling double dog, because we're going to double and we're going to bird dog and jam everybody else across the line. Now, depending on how fast he is, we could jam him, but in reality, he's not going to get down there fast enough, and 3 could attack both these guys. Same thing on this front. So we'll play games with these two, but usually the center releases and comes right up. And I know we're not supposed to line him up over, so really he'll be more about there, and he's just going to harass the center all the way down the field for the most part. So that's our double dog. That's what we're going to call it. That's how we're going to run it. And as far as what it looks like against, and we won't run this against a spread formation team, because obviously spread's different. I'll go over what we're going to do with them, what we're going to do with a shield or a spread punt formation. But next one we would run would basically be our normal bird dog formation, or bird dog attack. Again, I'm going to show it to you based out of the old original punt style. So maybe these guys aren't the best gunners, and they're just running it because this is all the coach knows, and that's all they're going to do. So we're going to jam them, funnel them outside, jam them, funnel them outside as much as we can. Everyone else is pretty much in that same lineup, per se. Right? And then basically we're just going to bird dog everybody. Everybody's got a man for the most part. He's got him, he's there, he's there, he's there, he's there, he's there. He's on that guy. 8, again, make sure the ball gets kicked, and he's in charge of the personal protector. So everybody's jamming and then funneling to the outside. Now if we're on the hash, we'd probably change it to where we're going to funnel half outside and to the outside, try and run up the hash. So again, we're still going to try and just run him straight up the middle, whether we're on a hash or not. The idea is jam them, ball is kicked, funnel them outside, make sure the ball is kicked, go after the personal protector. We want to set it up to where it's our returner versus the punter. So that's just going to be normal, good old bird dog. That's it. So double dog, we're going to shoot these guys out to double the corner. On bird dog, we're going to keep everybody, we're going to jam everybody, we're going to funnel them outside, and basically 4 is just going to take the center where he wants to go. If he goes that way, then 4 is going to funnel him that way. If he goes that way, we're going to funnel him that way. And how do I really number these guys? In reality, it's the defense. So, I mean, obviously we work from the outside in. So our inside guys, that's going to be our D lineman types, linebacker types, safety, DB types. Probably our returner is going to come in from the sideline to replace our biggest, slowest lineman, most likely. Or we might have an entire team. We'll see. We're only sitting at around 30, 35 players. So we'll see if we're able to sub in an entire team or we're just subbing in 2 or 3 guys. But in reality, your inside 4 are pretty much your D linemen, and then you just work to linebackers, to DBs, to the outside. So that's bird dog. That's a real simple, real easy one, and we can adjust this to where we send 7 or we send 1. But for the most part, we want to jam everybody. 8's going to make sure that the ball is kicked, and then he's going to attack the personal protector. So it looks like 8's coming for the block, but in reality, he's just coming up to make sure there's no fake. So that's bird dog against that formation. We ran that a lot against shield punt. I want to do some different things against the shield that we haven't done this year. But again, like I said, I'll get to those in a second. Spread punt versus shield punt. Now we're going to get into some of our walls and our attacks, as far as what those look like. So, and how I'm going to call it is essentially it's going to be left to right. So what that means is dog for us basically means, you know, jam them. Dog them, we're going to jam them, we're going to move them. So what I'm going to do to alleviate that is, say for example, dog crash. If I call dog crash, this side is going to jam, this side's going to crash hard and go for the block. And we might even do something where we bring the corner off the edge as well. If we know, especially if we're on this hash, it's a shorter field, we'll bring them on that side. Same thing over here. Instead, we would go crash dog, so that way everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. So again, if they're all kind of in their modes here, so again, jam off the line. So we're going to jam everybody off of the line, and then we're going to bring 5, 6, 7, and the corner really. So we're going to bring all these guys as much as we can off the line on that. Kind of make that easy. Now 4, I didn't show him because his reality is he's going to come off and take care of that gunner. That's his job. And we can change that, but that's just kind of the premise we like. We like bringing the 4 out to that side just because I like the alignment, I like the trajectory, and depending on the kick, it's an easy sideline, especially if it's on the hash. So yeah, that does mean that he's able to get there relatively quickly, but at the same time, still it allows us to have another blocker and another ability to get up the field, and another it allows us to bring in another rusher they might not be accounting for, especially out of this. So now what everybody's got to do after, say for example, if the ball is kicked, now everybody's basically got to go to set up a wall, and that's essentially how this guy's going to get caught. So everyone's going to basically rotate after the ball is kicked, come out, first threat, come out, first threat, come out, first threat, come out, first threat. So these guys are all going to funnel that way. He's going to catch, and hopefully the idea is to then go outside the wall. So again, we get 4 more returners after the ball is kicked, so we either block it or we're setting up a return. So it works out really nice. 8 again is to make sure the ball is kicked. He's going to come up outside the wing, make sure the ball is kicked, and then he's also going to set up a return as well. So we end up with 5 individuals setting up a return. We end up with 3 jamming, and the center's going to get caught in the wash as long as the punt is a nice, easy, catchable punt. And then we're going to work our way to the return. So that would be dog, crash. If I wanted to flip that, crash, dog. So it's just the reverse. So real simple, real easy stuff, and the kids understand that, okay, left side of the line, left side of center is doing this, right side of center is doing that. Just by 2 words. Crash dog, dog crash. And if the opposing team figures that out after 3 or 4 punts, good for them. But I really doubt they're going to figure that out, because I'll be doing bird dog, double dog, dog crash, crash dog, all that stuff. So probably not really going to understand it right out the gate. It's going to take them a while to figure out how we're making that call. So last little piece. So one thing, if you have a spread punt or a shield punt like we do, and everyone's kind of wide, like this, obviously get in the gaps. Obviously on that, we can still run double dog, but it really doesn't make much sense. Because in this formation, like what I told you on our punt, all these guys are gunners, and as soon as the ball is snapped, they're releasing. So bird dog's really the best, and then for us, we're probably going to work on, so say for example, corner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we could have an 8th guy, depending on what we want to do. We could load, we can have 7 and 8 kind of load, depending on what we want to do on that. But again, that would be a generic look for us. And we could bring 7 or 8, we can load them one side, we can load them to the other side, all depending on what we want to do against shield. But let's just say it's bird dog. Again, bird dog, jam, jam, jam. Now the nice thing about this is we have 2 guys that get to harass the center all the way down the field. So as soon as that ball is snapped, 3 and 4 will harass him all the way down the field. And then our punt returner, or our returner's back here, and these guys are waiting. So if we're going to jam them, that's fine. 7 and 8, wait for the kick, and then they're waiting for these 2 guys so they can funnel them. So that would be our bird dog look against shield punt. If we want to do that, these 2 are waiting for the 2 shield members. Usually they're the ones that funnel to the outside. So if we funnel everybody else outside, our returner should be able to cut up field relatively easy. Because usually, especially out of our shield punt, these guys are taught to basically follow the gunners. So 8 and 7 would really just go and shove them out. And depending on what this guy did, and depending on what this double team, 3 and 4 would be responsible for the center and the middle shield. So like for us, when the ball is kicked, he's supposed to follow the center. So as they're blocking him, one could break off, and then again, we would have a nice, easy middle return on a bird dog if we're able to do that correctly and everyone's able to stay on their man. Will we be able to do that? I don't know. It all really depends on how we're able to execute. But draw it up, X's and O's. If we execute it, it should work out really well to where it's our returner versus the punter. As far as everything else, we can do everything else pretty much the exact same. It's just a matter of alignment versus everything else. We can call crash dog. Again, double dog doesn't make sense against spread or shield punt because everyone's a gunner now for the most part. These 3 guys leave. These 4 are shifting through and sifting through the trash, trying to prevent any kind of rush. But say we want to run, we'll do the opposite. So we did dog crash on the last one. So we'll go crash dog here. So what we would do is we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 5, 6. So we're going to have 6 guys on this side. We're going to have 4 on this side. We are going to crash hard, and we're going to jam here. So we got the jam, 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 right hard through the middle shield. Right hard through the right shield. Right to the outside edge. Still hard to the outside. Still hard to the outside. So funneling everything there. And then of course, if the ball is kicked, rotate, rotate, rotate. And the farther you are, the quicker you turn. So the farther you are to the outside, the quicker your turn is. So And now we're jamming everybody down here. I didn't send him. He's to make sure there's no kind of funny business. Because again, we run fakes all the time. He could be the option guy. He could be the guy they're trying to throw a pass to. So when we do the shield punt, the corners are not involved with the fake as they are in the other formation, because these are the guys that they tend to throw to, or these are the guys they tend to throw to. For us, we're going to eventually throw to this guy. We're going to run option with these two. We might eventually throw to the punter. Haven't really decided yet. But that's what crash dog would look like against a shield punt team. Now we could make some adjustments, because depending on who's the weaker shield member, we could change some things as far as being able to attack this side, attack the middle, and attack whatnot. We could bring bullets right up the middle, where we bring 7 and 8 up the middle. But I like being able to try to go for the block and still set up a return. Usually when I see teams go for a block, they go for the block, they don't make it. It's kind of the be-all, end-all. This has a block and a built-in return, which is still a wall return. So I like being able to do that. I like being able to say, yeah, we're going to go after it. We're going to send 5 guys to go after it. But if we don't, we still have a chance for a return. Again, what I hate to see is when I see all these guys line up, and then, oh no, we didn't get the block, and there's nobody blocking for the punt returner, so he's got nothing to do other than leave it go or fair catch it. So I like having the option to where we're going for a block and setting up a return at the same time. So again, the weak points in the shield are the A and B gaps. So, you know, these are the stress points. Those are the stress points in it. So if you're able to attack those and really put pressure on the shield to the punt returner, it's the best way you can do it, which is why we're bringing 2 people through 1 gap. Because usually that's going to be hard. I mean, for us, for example, if we're running against that, and they had that 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 technique over there, and then 5, 6, and 8, and the corner out here, and they're bringing that against us. I mean, for us, that would be a simple 55 call for us, because what that would do for us is we'd release outside, release outside, release outside, right? Well, he's still getting through untouched. He's basically coming through untouched. So you have 1, 2, 3 guys coming through untouched that the shield has to deal with, plus 1 other guy. So if these guys are bad beasts, your linebackers, your strong safety types that are able to hit that shield hard and push them back, go for it. If they're not, again, coming from the edge, hoping these guys don't align right, sending 5 off the edge, really trying to get across and dive in front. Because again, when he lines up here, they come close together, he's going to end up right about there. So if you have that speed where you can get hard off that edge and dive, you might be able to get there. Might. It's not always a guarantee. So if you can push the shield back, or if you have a fast enough player that can get right around that edge and jump and time it right, you have the block. So I like to set up to where we're going to overload, because again, on this front, I got 1, 2, 3 guys coming untouched. Even if they call a 44, even if they do a switch call, anything they try to do, I got 3 guys coming off touch because I got 5 against their 3. So, and I'm jamming, 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 jamming. So we're jamming the other 4, and I got 5 coming against their 3, because again, they have to count everybody that's on the line. So one thing against us that nobody does, and nobody has done yet when we run our shield, usually we just get this look. This is kind of the basic look we always got. That's kind of what we got. Maybe one other guy right here, but we still had, we would still get that kind of look where they'd still have backers in the backfield, corners would be playing off back here. So again, in essence, we would still have that ability to to where we're just making a call of 44 or 55. Nobody put everybody on the line. You put everybody on the line, it forces them to make a different count. So that's one thing we're looking at, and now that I've said that, it'll be interesting to see how many teams we play that put everybody up on the line and say, figure it out. So now, my answer to that would be rugby punt and a fake. That's my answer. Because again, think of this, if you do line up like that against us, you do decide to do that, now, all I really gotta do is down block hard, scoop, 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 down block hard, option the corner, and I'm running option off the edge. So, again, if you wanna do that, I got answers for it. So that's the other thing, is just always have answers for what a defense could do to you on special teams, especially when you're trying to do punt return. Always got answers for what the offense can do, always try to have answers for what the defense can do. So as far as punt return goes, I would line everybody up, and I'm coming hard, but again, I sit my corners on those last guys so they can't go, and then I play games with my other 8. So, and I can tag them to where I move 8 around, move 7 around, maybe I put 7 and 8 right in here, and they just go hard, and I still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm still playing games where I got 4 on each side, but now I'm coming hard into the gaps. So I can play games like that, and then maybe, 4 is coming off to get the center. And so is 3. Again, similar to that original routine that we had where I showed you that 3 and 4 basically just going to block the center all the way down the field. So again, playing different games, tagging it with different things. So that's our basic punt return. We got double, where we're going to double the outside corners in the original. We got bird dog, where we're just going to jam everybody and send one guy. And then we got dog crash dog, where we're trying to go after it, but we're setting up a return off the back end. So again, having a couple different calls for a couple different situations. So that's our punt return. That's our schemes. Again, trying to make it versatile, trying to make it easy, having something for every different situation. Know their formations. Try to know their protections. Are they the kickback and punch, or are they trying to rip through? Where does the ball land? Is the punter a righty or a lefty? What's their average? Where's the block point as far as yards? So I mean, usually if it's a traditional punt, maybe he's 12 to 13 is the launch point at 10 to 11. And if it's like us and it's shield and we're 15, then he's trying to kick it right around 12. So that's normally, we gotta somehow get to the block at 12. What's the snapper's number? And does he pull the ball? How fast is the snap? Does he tend to snap high or snap low? So just kind of things to know as far as a special teams coordinator. What's the punt return gonna look like? So who's the weakest blocker? Who's the weakest cover guy? And then do they have a tendency to where they really like to kick it to the left, to the right, to the middle, or are they just at the mercy of their punter and things of that nature? And then is the depth of the punter inconsistent? And is there a tell for that? Is he at 10 yards because they're planning on faking? Is he at 12 because he just forgot? Does he align a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left? Does he favor on the shield? Do they have a shield and a rugby like we do? Do they have an overload shield like we do, or we put a wing out there and we pretend to do rugby? Like what kind of formations do they have? So again, things to consider when you're planning your punt return for your scheme for that week. So thank you all again. Thank you very much. Again, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share if you got anything, and again, comment, ask questions if there's something you want me to cover, or if you're like, hey, can you go over that again in more depth? Like if you want me to really dive hard into our bird dog situation, or our double dog, or crash dog, whatever that may be, whatever you want me to go over, I have no problem going over with it. Next week I'm going to go over our kickoff. Eventually our kick returns kind of changed a little bit. I'll show you what that is in the oncoming weeks as far as scheme goes, and then I'll eventually get into kind of how I've evolved as an offensive coach, where I went from a man scheme where we ran a lot of power, a lot of trap, a lot of counter and down and go. And now I've kind of evolved where I'm running a little bit more inside, outside zone, and some veer type style stuff. So again, thank you so much. Have a great week, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Again, like I said, I try to drop twice a week, Tuesday, Thursday. So be great, push limits, and hold the line.